Greetings Internet, my name is the Bearded Ferret and welcome back to another Pokemon Sun and Moon Thoughts and Ideas video. This time we've got seven, where's the U? There, 7 new Pokemon to talk about. It is big ol' reveal, and while I am a little late to the party, we've still got plenty to talk about, and we've got plenty of information now that the abruptness of things has been lifted. These guys were leaked a little bit and then confirmed for realsies, and there's a whole lot to talk about, so let's dive on in. Most recently, we got the Pokemon Grubbin a little while back. Well, now we've got the full line. We got all of what Grubbin becomes. So Grubbin evolves into Chargebug, and then Chargebug becomes a Vikavolt, all sorts of electric-y bugness, and Chargebug here is literally the battery Pokemon. It's a battery. It's kind of weird looking, honestly. The color scheme seems a little weird to me, but I guess it does kind of represent like the cocooniness. It's very like square. It almost looks like a bus to me. But anyway, Chargebug here, apparently they stay perfectly still in preparation for their final evolution, and they often spend a lot of their time buried in the ground, and they can store enough power to run a household for an entire day. So much like Metapon and Kakuna, he's just kind of there, except he's electric type. So he rock your world and shock you and all that, but then becomes Vikavolt or whatever the you say. But Vikavolt is like a fortress that zooms through the forest, firing a beam of electricity from its mouth, which is two like giant saws. Its huge jaws controls the electricity it blasts out. Vikavolt is adept at acrobatic flighting maneuvers like tailspins and sharp turns. It can fly at high speeds, even as it weaves its way through the completed tangle of branches in the forest. Vikavolt clasps Chargebug with its legs and uses it as an extra battery. Even if a battle drags on, it can use the electric power from Chargebug to continue firing off powerful moves. When Vikavolt is engaged in a fierce aerial fight, it releases Chargebug to make itself lighter and increase its mobility. Now that's actually really interesting. You know, Vikavolts use their previous evolution as like a storage for power to make themselves even stronger. So I wonder if that will be like implemented into the game, if like you have a Vikavolt and you have a Chargebug in your party. Vikavolt gets some sort of like stat boost or something. That would be interesting. But that's pretty much it. You know, it's your usual route or early on forest bug with a little electric twist. So it's pretty cool to see like that we've already seen Grubbin all the way to its final evolution. So that's really cool to see. Personally, this next Pokemon is like one of my new favorite Alola Pokemon. We have Drampa, this derpy looking dragon, and he's just a really derpy little guy, and when he's attacked he's all like rah, rah, and he's really cool, and he's a dragon. He's a normal dragon. I don't know, I just really like him. It's just really derpy, and I just read the little Pokedex entry for it, and I really like its Pokedex entry too. I think it really fits with the dragon. But Durampa are dragons that live alone in the mountains, 10,000 feet above sea level. Since they can't obtain the berries they feed on at that range, they descend to the base of the mountains at dawn every day. Durampa love communicating with people and Pokemon. They're especially gentle with children and often appear at schools and parks where children gather. While Durampa are usually very gentle Pokemon, it can fly into a rage if a child it's cared for is hurt in some way. So they're like guardians for children, and they're cool looking and derpy, and I like it. I find myself grinding a lot more towards like the derpy looking Pokemon, and I'm like, that's so cool. You know, I still like my fair share of badass Pokemon, but I like the derpies or the dorbs. Speaking of derpy though, this next one we have is Brookish or Bruxish or whatever, and the design on this one is a little out there. It's very colorful fish, to say the least, and he's just out there. He's really out there. He's a funky fish, and we've gotten a few funky fish over the days. My only concern about little Brooksish here is I don't really want it to go the way of Love Disc and I totally am blanking on what it's called, but it's the fish that has two different colors, the red and the blue. This is what I mean, like, this is a fish, and there's a red one and a blue one, and I don't even remember what they're called, and I don't want this Pokemon to end up like that. So hopefully this Pokemon either evolves or something, has a pre-evolution or whatever, because the one and done fish, we have enough one and done fish. But the most interesting thing about Little Brookshish here is its ability, Dazzling, which it cancels out priority moves, it seems to be like. In the trailer it shows Pikachu going to do a quick attack, and then Dazzling prevents that from happening, and Pikachu flat out just loses its turn. So that's interesting. But Brookshish emits a strong psychic power from the I'm bad with words, on its head. When its opponents are bathed in this power, they're stricken with terrible headaches and fall unconscious. As it emits its psychic power, it grinds its teeth loudly. When nearby Pokemon hear the sound of Brookshish's teeth gnashing, they sense danger and flee immediately. In the Alola region, lifeguards let Brookshish remain in the area to prevent dangerous water-type Pokemon from gathering there. Brookshish dig hole in the seafloor, leaving just the thing on its head exposed. When emitting a low-level psychic power, this serves as a radar, so when it detects prey, it can leap out to attack. So, with the exception of the ability, it's kind of just a really meh fish. Again, it's very bright, colorful, really out there, but I think the biggest thing, and I'm sure a lot of you agree, is its ability is what makes it interesting. So hopefully we can get more from this fish. Otherwise, it's just going to go the way of, actually, I think I just read, I think it's Basculin. I think that's actually the name of the fish, but it don't matter. Hopefully we can get more from this little fishy. And speaking of potentially forgetful Pokemon, this next one is called Cutie Fly, and is cute. It's, it's a bug fairy. It's a little bee fly Pokemon, but it's just kind of there. I feel like this could be a Pokemon that, a few years from now, after we've all died down from Sun and Moon, we're gonna be like, what? Oh, Cutie Fly. When we're all doing our, tests of our knowledge of the Alola region, we're gonna be like, what Pokemon? I'm missing a Pokemon. Oh, it was Cutie Fly. It's not. I don't know. Cutie Fly doesn't really say much to me, but let's see what it's Pokedex entry 6. I haven't actually read it yet. Cutie Fly can detect the auroras of living things, including people, Pokemon, and plants. They search out flowers by the color and brightness of the aura and then gather their nectar and pollen. When living creatures are excited, it seems that their auras resemble those of flowers in full bloom. As a result, these Pokemon tend to gather near people or Pokemon feeling particularly happy or sad. Cutie Fly mostly live in the fields and meadows of the outskirts of cities, but they sometimes appear in towns and even inside buildings, drawn in by the emotions of the living beings of the community. Yeah, so really overall, Cutie Fly is cute and can fly, but that's about it. There ain't really much else to say about this little guy. And the next Pokemon is my personal favorite of the new releases, Toki Tomorrow. Toki Tomorrow, just the name itself is fun to say. Toki Tomorrow, Toki Tomorrow, Toki Tomorrow. I like the name and I like the design, and to me, this is our Pika clone. It seems very much that Toki Tomorrow is the Pika clone. It's got, it's a little electric rat. It's got the little pouches on his cheeks. This seems like Generation 7's Pikachu, and I couldn't be happier about it if it is the case, because it is, in fact, electric steel, and that is awesome. It is one of my top 5 best, or actually it was on the worst end. One of my top 5 worst things that I felt could happen when Sun and Moon is if the Pika clone was just pure electric, because the past couple that we had gotten had that duplicate typing that actually made them stand out and was a little more interesting. And now we have another one, Toki Tomorrow. And the best part about the fact that it's electric steel, it seems like there's that rivalry between Toki Tomorrow and Dedenne. Two adorable, cute, awesome little Pika clones. And we got the steel, we got the fairy, and the clash, and it's a cute little hedgehog. It's a little thing spike up, and it's cool. I like it. I like Toki Tomorrow a lot. But anyway, Toki Tomorrow is the roly-poly Pokemon that gather electricity and stores it. The long needles that grow from the back of its head works as lightning rods to attract electricity. With this reservoir of electric energy, Toki Tomorrow is able to release powerful electric-type attacks, covering its body Covering its body is a pattern of fur which stands like needles. That means that Toki Tomorrow can roll itself up, and presto, it's a ball of prickles. Some skilled trainers have developed a strategy of getting other Pokemon to unleash electric-type attacks on Toki Tomorrow, which absorbs their power to use in a response attack. On days when lightning strikes, you can sometimes see Toki Tomorrow gather and bristle up their needles, waiting to be struck by lightning. So this thing not only is cute and awesome, it's badass. It's ready to go out there and be like, hey, you lightning, fuck you. Go ahead and strike me. You just bring it on. I like Toki Tomorrow a lot. Toki Tomorrow is really, really cool. And it's the roly-poly Pokemon. I just read that. The roly-poliness of Toki Tomorrow is adorable. And if there's... when we get a plush of Toki Tomorrow, I'm getting one, and I'm gonna snuggle it forever. But finally, the biggest, probably like reveal of the 7, we have Tapu Koko, or however you say it. It's Electric Fairy, which is cool. It seems to be a lot of love for electric types this time around, and that is pretty cool. But it's like a totem Pokemon, and that's pretty cool. And it's a land spirit Pokemon. And in the trailer, we see that it's in the hands of, I forget his name, but like the chief of the town, of like our starting area, the guy that gives us the starters, him. So that's very interesting. And let's see here. Tapu Koko is a special Pokemon that protects the area where it lives. It's called the guardian deity of Mele Island, one of the islands of the Alola region. Although it's known as a guardian deity, it's a surprisingly fickle Pokemon and will not necessarily come to your aid if you need help. Despite that, this Pokemon has a strong sense of curiosity. If it becomes interested in a person or in other Pokemon, it may come to play or battle with them. Tapu Koko can store up electricity by enclosing itself in its shell on its arms, and it also appears to enter this form during other special times. And it appears to be, like, 'cause when it gets in its little thing, it looks like a bird head. So I'm wondering if there are others. Like, obviously we haven't had any reveals, and I'm sure plenty of other people are speculating because it is, it's the land spirit Pokemon, but it looks like the beginning of a totem pole. So I'm wondering if Tapu Koko is maybe one of 3. A lot of actually, I think every single generation has it, because we got the 3 birds, we got the 3 dogs, we got the 3 Reggies. Were Mesprit in them Generation 4? Or yeah, pretty sure they were Generation 4. Mesprit, Uxie, and I don't remember. And then Generation 5 was Landorus, Tornadus, and Thundurus. In Generation 6, I don't think there really was one in Generation 6, unless you count Deontay, Hoopa, and Volcanion. I don't know about Gen 6, but for the most part, we've always had like a legendary trio, and it would make sense that Tapu Koko was just one of 3, and they made like a giant totem pole and worked really well together because, well, they like each other very much, and they're very cool. And I have a feeling, since Tapu Koko is seen in the hands of the old guy, I feel like at some point in the game, Tapu Koko is going to join us. We're going to have to prove ourselves to Tapu Koko that we, are for the good and all of that, and then we'll battle Tapu Koko, we'll capture Tapu Koko, and that's how we'll get him and his brothers and sisters or whatever, if there are more than one, because otherwise, it just seems like he's just kind of like a one Pokemon, like there aren't a ton of Tapu Kokos running around. There's just him, and he's the guardian of this island, our island, so now we gotta work together to stop the evil. And yeah, that's about it. That's all the Pokemon we got. The other thing we got a couple of screenshots on Pokemon Sun and Moon's official website, and it showcases riding on Pokemon again. It shows you riding on a Stoutland, which is kind of weird that it's a Stoutland and you're in the middle of a canyon, which looks beautiful, but it's just kind of weird. And then there's another screenshot. I actually did not get this one up, so I am the stupid. Let me go ahead and bring it up, maybe, perhaps. Unprepared as always. Come on, hurry up. Ah, yes, this one. It doesn't really show you riding a Pokemon, but it only shows your shoulders up from behind. But the scenery in front of you is gorgeous. So I think the Alola region is going to be beautiful, and I can't wait to see more. But I'm pretty sure those are the only 2 screenshots. Oh, and I think there's, I don't know if this is new or not, but it's like Pikachu using electric. It doesn't matter. But so we've got the riding on the Stoutland, and that's pretty cool. What I'm hoping is that it's a little more balanced and fixed than it was in X and Y. Because in X and Y, you rode the Rhydon and you rode the Mamoswine, and it was very like locked. The controls were kind of weird, the way you moved. But then when you got on the little skiddos, like around the ranch, that was very nice and smooth. So I'm hoping it's more like that when you're riding these Pokemon, and you're not just like clunking along. And if you want to, like, if you're going straight and go right, have to be like before you can along in the other direction. Hopefully we can, like, it'll be more smooth, like on the skiddo, you can be like, yay, wee, fun times. And hopefully, like, there are more of a variety of Pokemon to ride, rather than just Stoutland or a Skiddo or Rhyhorn or Mamoswine. I would love to actually be able to ride some Pokemon from the Alola region rather than just Stoutland. But where it is just one screenshot, it is a new feature. I mean, it's something that's going to be fun. So hopefully we can ride all of the Pokemons that we can. So that's about it for this thoughts and ideas and reaction and all of that. We got a ton of new Pokemon, some really cool ones, and a couple screenshots, emphasizing how awesome this game is going to be even more. I actually was thinking about it as I was preparing to do this video, and we've gotten some information on the region, we got some information on Legends, and we've gotten information on the Pokemon. So I'm hoping in the next few months, hopefully we will get more information, maybe on the evil team itself, on more aspects of the game, and I'm really hoping we're gonna get Mega Evolution back, because it would be a shame to kiss it goodbye so quickly. So maybe in the future, but for now, that's about all I got. So shout out to Drampa and shout out to Toki Tomorrow, because you guys are awesome, and you make me excited for the Alola region, and depending how the game plays out in other Pokemon, you two might be on my team, and I'm very happy. But either way, that's it for now. If you enjoyed this thoughts and reactions video to the newest Pokemon Sun and Moon trailer, do give that like button a nice little poke for me. If you want to stick around and are new to the channel for more Pokemon Sun and Moon videos, why don't you scroll on over and poke that subscribe button while you're at it. Don't forget to scroll on down and leave a comment. Let me know what Pokemon you are excited about from the Alola region. Who was your favorite of these 7? And let me know what your hopes for future trailers are going to be as they show us more of what's happening in the Alola region. Oh, actually, also we got a little thing on Zygarde, just some new art. It was pretty cool. Nothing really new and special there. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. Thank you all again for watching. And until next time, guys, I'll see you then.